we'll go with Riley Gaines posting Leah Thomas's video of the day. Let's listen to this. This is Riley Gaines. You will all remember Riley Gaines, a woman physically assaulted by a man at an event where she was speaking. University of San Francisco State College. Yeah, it was SFSC, San Francisco State College, where she was speaking against the idea of allowing males, biological males, born males, with all of the biological advantages that goes along, biological, physiological, competitive advantages that go along with being a male. There are some disadvantages. I think males have smaller brains, but hardy har. The biological advantages that go along with biological males competing in biological female sports. She's giving a talk. She gets physically assaulted by a male, falsely imprisoned for 3 hours in a classroom by the mob, who jokes about letting her out if she pays a ransom. And people who have since deleted their Twitter accounts praised the wonderful students who peacefully protested. Praise them. Anyhow, so Riley Gaines puts this out today, and it's an edited video, so I don't know what the full original one looks like, of Leah Thomas. There's no biological advantage to being a male and having gone through puberty. Bone density, arm span, muscle mass, none whatsoever. There's so not a biological advantage that when biological males who purport to be transitioning want to get into biological female sports, they have to make sure that their biological advantages are not past a certain threshold. There's no difference. Trans women are women, but we need to make sure that their male hormones are not too high. And if they are, we got to give them some chemicals to change that, to make them the same. Listen to this.
My name is Leah Thomas. I'm a transgender woman, a former college swimmer, and the first trans athlete to be named Division I NCAA champion. I started swimming when I was
the first trans athlete to be named NCAA
champion. Division I NCAA champion. I started swimming when I was 5 years old, and it has taught me so much. It has given me so many opportunities to learn, grow, develop, and connect with my peers.
Opportunities that I now want to take away from women, because having a biological male compete with women will and has take away that position. So I have had such a good experience with what competitive sports have taught me. Because when I was 5 years old, I was still a male. I had such a wonderful experience. It taught me so much. I now want to deprive that of what was specifically protected for biological women. How thoughtful of you. How selfless, Leah.
Opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't have access to athletics.
Opportunities that I now want to deny from women because I'm demanding access to their sports.
That's why it breaks my heart to see trans kids across the country lose out on these opportunities.
No trans kid, if such a thing can exist, are being denied. Nobody's losing opportunities anywhere, at any point, period, full stop. Having your opportunities not even limited, but segregated based on biological differences is not having them, what did you say, limited, denied? What was the word?
Lose out on these opportunities. Across the country, lose out on these opportunities.
They're losing out on nothing except for the unfair advantage of competing in a category in which they would have an unfair advantage. Trans kids are losing out on nothing. They just have to compete in specific categories. What a bizarre definition of losing out on something. I'm losing out on something. I have access to something, but not what I demand access to. Therefore, I'm losing out on what I demand access to, even though I have no right, biological, legal, or otherwise, to what I'm demanding access to. Like a child.
The Department of Education has proposed a new rule for Title IX regarding transgender athletes. This rule would prohibit blanket bans on transgender kids, especially in grades K through 8. However, it would not prohibit discrimination against trans kids in the high school and college levels under the guise of competitive fairness.
Interesting. So from what I understand, until puberty typically settles in, there will be a ban. But not after puberty kicks in, if I've understood it correctly. Maybe I haven't.
This rule is a good start. However, it is not enough. During this time of intense anti-trans backlash, the trans community needs explicit protections from discrimination in order to live our lives freely and equally.
You already have those. They're called human rights. What you don't have is the right to procure unfair biological advantages in sports that were created, divisioned off for the purposes of acknowledging biological difference. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys know all of this already in here, but and the trans athletes belong in sports. Nobody is banning trans kids from sports, trans people from sports. I say trans kids in quotes because I tend to agree with Billboard Chris that there's no such thing as a trans kid. There are kids with all sorts of different preferences, predilections, desires, physiologies, and it goes on, but not for much longer.
Luckily, this rule is not final. We have a 30-day period to urge the Biden administration to amend the rule and grant equal protection for all transgender kids.
Equal protection for all transgender kids they already benefit from. You know who else deserves protection, and it was the reason for Title IX? Women. That's why it was created. Under the guise of competitive fairness, are you really trying to say that you would have won a national title against the men? Does it not break your heart to see women lose out on these opportunities? The Biden administration proposed bill denies science, truth, and common sense. And speaking of Marxism, that is I won't say it's the defining element. It's probably, one of the common elements of all totalitarian regimes, denying the obvious, denying what is in front of your face. 2 + 2 = 5. It's the famous torture scene of Winston in 1984.